Everyone, welcome back to season 2 of my interview series. Starting us off, we have the amazing and illustrious Matthew Zeon. Would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Hi, I'm it's Matthew Dun. It's kind of weird because it's a part of well, my Cantonese name essentially, but I'm a Cantonese voice actor from New Zealand. Yeah, there's not much else to say than that. Aside from other things, yeah, not much.
Sweet. Oh, I'm so sorry for mispronouncing your last name. I probably should have asked you how to pronounce it. Like when I called you. So
No, no, it's all good. It's all good. It's all
so
good.
how do you pronounce it again? Sorry, I want to get it right.
Dun, Dun. It's part of my Cantonese name.
Oh, okay. Zun.
Dun. Yeah,
All right, cool. Like it's like
it's like
I
a
guess.
J sound.
Oh, okay. So like Jin, kind of in a way.
Yeah, kind
Zen,
of. It's
Zen, Zen.
yeah, it's close enough. It's close enough.
Oh, okay. I will get it right one day. I promise you.
One day, but no, uh, it comes from my Cantonese name, which is Geet.
Oh, all right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's part of that.
Sweet. Yeah, so I guess first question I say to everyone, yeah, what got you into voice acting?
What got me into voice acting? Oh, um, I was uh, I was scrolling on Reddit one day at when I was at work when I used to work as a salesman, and I was like, you know, what's one thing I kind of miss doing, and it was voice acting because I was like one of my first few voice acting experiences when I was 13 is like I always wanted to do something like creative in this kind of field, and just one thing led to another, and turns out I was somewhat decent at it. And I know some people I like the sound of my voice, which I always get confused by, and that's how I got into voice acting.
Hell yeah. That's I'm pretty that's yeah, a lot of my some of my friends who got into it are kind of gone the exact same way. They just gave it a try and it worked. People liked it and they like it. So yeah, it's a really cool way to get into it, I'd say.
Yeah, yeah. But
Um oh, sorry, I cut you off there.
no, no, no. Yeah. Other than that, it's what got me into it was just wanting something to try something different.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Just on that regards to that question, I have a just I will just preface right now. I have a really bad habit of doing little or things like that when people are speaking. I'm so sorry. Um,
Oh no,
I will
don't be.
I will make sure I'll make sure to like shut up when you're speaking properly.
No, no, no.
So yeah, I was gonna ask any shows or like films you've like watched in your childhood, like animations, like anime cartoons, that kind of like inspired you to take up the plunge.
It wasn't really like TV shows or anything like that because growing up, I didn't watch much like anime or cartoons. Though I did watch a lot of Eddy and Eddy, and that might have helped me influence some of my sense of humor. But what helped me took the plunge was actually playing a video game, and I thought to myself because I'm a bit of a computer nerd. I like to tinker with like things like digital things and stuff like that, and I've have a background in like well computing essentially. But it was a video game, and there was a ability to make your own mod, like you to put your own voice in the game. And I was like, I should try it. I should try it. And um, it was the game was called Ready or Not, and I was like, maybe I should try it. And I decided, pop up my microphone, my crappy USB microphone inside like a cardboard box with foam all over it. That was the first thing I did. And I was like, I'll try it. I'll give it a try. And turns out it was pretty decent. I showed my friends. I decided to upload it to a website that hosts all the mods, and turns out it was somewhat decent. And that helped me took the plunge to, I'm gonna do this as a job, try and do it as a job.
Hell yeah! What a way of humble beginnings, I would say. Um,
Eh,
can't say I've heard of that game before. That sounds really cool. Like to input your own voice into the game. That sounds really cool. I wish more games, let us have the that creativity to do so.
yeah, yeah. Um, it was it was really at first it was really weird because I was like, oh god, I sound horrible. I was like, oh god, do I really sound like that?
No, I get that. When I first started out, I started out on Casting Call Club,
Mm.
and you can actually see your old editions. So this is when I like started out in like late 2018. So I was able to go back and I revisited them recently, and they're like, oh, they're terrible. Who actually booked me for this? This is terrible. This is god awful.
Yeah, I've had, yeah, I felt that too. Yeah, yeah,
But I also consider it a good thing because it means that you have like improved like drastically since then. And yeah, as long as you keep doing that, then that's all you can be proud of really because you can't really change how you sounded back then as much as you would try to. But yeah,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's my beginning, I guess. I was playing a video game one day. I was like, I can try and make a mod for this, and I was like, yeah, I did it.
hell yeah. Yeah. So are you originally have you did you grow up in New Zealand or would you move?
Yeah,
Oh really? Okay, nice. Let's
I
go.
was, I was born and raised in Auckland.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, yeah.
I recently moved to Auckland in 2021. Originally, I'm from Hamilton, so
Mm.
I reckon you're a lot more lucky than I am. Uh,
I would, I wouldn't say I'm lucky. I just, it's all right here. I mean, I like the city. I like it here.
yeah, Auckland, to me is like it's more accepting of the arts. So the people who don't know, Hamilton sucks. It's pretty much it's like the equivalent of like a backwards, unprogressive redneck town who's like super traditional. They don't even know what the arts is that kind of area.
Mm.
So yeah, Moon
Oh,
Auckland was such a good positive change for me.
there's a joke. It's like this the mountain ranges just before you go to Hamilton.
Mm.
It's in South Auckland. I forgot. It's like is anything past that is considered like oh they're not as artsy and stuff like that. I forgot what mountain ranges it was called again. Um oh I forgot. I
Oh,
forgot.
that's okay. Just like
But
Hamilton, it's forgettable, so it's fine.
Hamilton's fair enough, mate. Fair enough.
I need to stop hating on my hometown because there's some good parts about it. I grew up there for like 18 years, so there's
Mm,
some good things about it, but I wouldn't choose to live there. But yeah,
mm, mm.
but yeah, what was it like being raised in Auckland?
Being raised in Auckland, well, I kind of grew up kind of reclusive. Like, I was a bit of a shut-in, not by choice, not by choice. But I was mostly spending my time like studying essentially, and like because like the stereotype, like to have to study hard, get a good job in like the stereotypical kind of like a Chinese fashion.
Oh, I know all about that. That goes on
Yeah,
my end as well. It's the same.
yeah. So growing up, yeah, it was mostly just wasn't allowed to go on the internet until like 2013. I was like 15 at the time. Yeah, we didn't have internet till like 2013. Most of my time was actually spent in the like just reading books and watching documentaries on like the TV and stuff like that. But well, I did go out eventually when I was like 16, but I can't really remember much before that because it was just kind of forgettable. You know what I mean? Because
Damn.
yeah, I was a bookworm. I was a fucking bookworm.
I can't imagine like anyone in this generation or even in my generation just not having internet till they were 15. That's crazy.
That was
Like
2013.
2013, yeah.
Yeah.
Um
So
wait, so how old I'm so sorry, this might sound really rude, but how old are you now? You like
oh, I'm 24.
24. Oh, you don't
Yeah,
sound
20.
24. Well, I don't know what you look like, so
Um,
I can only base it off your profile picture, but
uh,
you kind of like remind me of like my age, so I'm just 20 right now. But yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
oh, that's the first. I sound younger than I sound younger than I look. Usually people say I look older than no. Do I sound? Wait, actually, let me ask my partner real quick. Hey, Boo, do I sound or look older than I look? Apparently, I sound older than I look. um, but no, I'm 24. I'm 2025 this year though.
Oh, nice. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah.
25,
Um,
quarter of a century.
but I have because of that I also have like some experience in other fields as well and all that stuff. So growing up in Auckland, yeah, didn't really have much like what people consider like freedom until I was 18. Um I kind of wanted to take a gap year when I was 18, but my dad was like, "No, no, no, you gotta study, you gotta study." Um, so yeah, I ended up studying IT actually. So it was quite a drastic change to do voice acting.
Yeah, I imagine so. Yeah, but like I think with IT as well, I might be completely wrong because I know literally nothing about IT in the
Mm,
slightest. But I know voiceover is like at least when you start out, it's like pretty online for the most part, especially if you live in New Zealand because we don't really have that many like sustainable opportunities as compared to like
mm.
Canada or the US. So we kind of have to like start out online. Did any of the IT training you did kind of like blend itself into like voiceover when you initially started up?
Yes, actually, because it helped me stay curious, actually, like learning about like how to mix audio essentially, and just finding like necessary information and where to look to find like opportunities. And like you said, it is very well, I say unfortunate, but not really. It's kind of just the luck of the draw that we don't really have as many opportunities, like you said, as the people in the States or like, for example, in the UK where they have like major hub cities and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, most of us just helped me, what do you say, like be able to look for um like opportunities and stuff
yeah.
like that. But yeah, it did help. It did help. Like just being able to look and find it helped me. Oh God, I'm English is not good. I'm not good with English
No,
too
you're
sometimes.
perfectly fine. Don't worry.
Um, but yeah, no, it did help because it helped me, stay curious, help me stay what do you say, like alert and aware,
Yeah.
and just keep a lookout for the things that the opportunities that are out there.
Hell yeah. You're actually the internet VO community is quite small depending where you're looking at. Like the commercial side, it's
Mm,
pretty decently sized, but we're kind of niche in that regard.
mm,
But in terms of character stuff, not really much. Unless you're like searching on Twitter and like or like the VAL, VAC, all that stuff.
mm.
So, we're not really that apart. I think I, and there's two more people I know that are like activish on the VO side, Twitter on the character side. So
Mm, mm.
you're in a pretty small niche, but you're like I would say right now I would say you're like one of the founding members. I would say because we can only the only way that we can be heard is to get more people on board, which I'm trying to do with some of my friends at the moment. So yeah,
Mm,
I think it's good just to have everyone have like many opportunities as you can because recently Australia, especially last year, Australia had like a big old boom of Australian voice actors and like everything like anime, cartoons. And I want that to be for New Zealanders as well, because we're not that far away from Australia, and
mm.
we deserve a chance, you know?
Yeah, we definitely do.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean, we're so close. You know, we should have some of the same opportunities as the people overseas as well. I mean,
yeah,
we're quite like we're a small country of 5 million people. Our accent's kind of unique and kind of
yeah.
different from what you hear typically and all that stuff.
Yeah,
But
it just irks me a little bit when people tag me for Australian casting calls, and I can do an Australian accent, but like I'm not Australian, so like if you're looking for like that authentic person to do the authentic character, then I'm
yeah,
not the
yeah.
person for that job, unfortunately. But yeah,
Um, Oh, yeah. Speaking about accents, though, it's kind of funny because I always get confused for being American in New Zealand, and when I speak to my American friends, they think I'm like they say this. I sound like the copyright-free, royalty-free, ethnically ambiguous kind of voice. I'm like, what the hell is that supposed to mean, mate?
what does that mean? That's very
I know.
that's super hyper specific. Um,
They were very specific, and I was like, "What the hell does that mean?"
I can't seem to put your voice to a character right now. I'm there. I've got I don't know. It'll probably come to me randomly like 3 a.m. But I don't know, man. It's I don't know. I definitely get the American side. I can hear a little bit of it. It's
Yeah,
the same
yeah,
for me. I'm kind of like I'm indeed when I want to be, but American most of the time because I was kind of raised in like an Indian family, so we speak very fast. Combine that with the lazy jaw, the NZ lazy jaw. Um,
yeah,
it's a lot
yeah.
of
I get
mumbling,
you.
so kind of learning the American accent like subconsciously, so I can speak slower, I can articulate my thoughts, and it's good.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, it helps
Um,
a lot too with characters as well.
it does. But it's a bit of a shame though, because like,
Yeah, it is what it
how
is.
am I supposed to take that?
But yeah, I was also gonna ask, so how long have you been voice acting for?
Um, casually or professionally, because those are two different answers.
Both, casually and
Um, casually for at least I don't know, like maybe 2, 3 years at least.
yeah, let's go.
Professionally, like when I started to say, I want to do this as a job. How long was it? 4 months ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 4 months ago.
Yeah, that. Oh, okay. So you started out professionally in like January.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, let's go. Yeah,
That's when.
I kind of did a similar thing where I was casual for 3 years, and then the year after I decided to take the plunge, and yeah, that's awesome,
Mm,
man. I'm hoping you get like so many more opportunities and stuff, and you're able to like do more classes,
mm.
meet more crazy and incredible people to do more things, man. You got
Oh,
a very
definitely, definitely.
you have a very unique voice. I will say for sure, and
A very unique boy.
yeah,
Oh,
from what
thank
I've
you,
heard as
thank you.
well.
Um, what else? Professionally, 4 months. Uh, yeah, no, that's all I have to say about that.
Hell yeah. Is there any? This is like where we're gonna like kind of project ourselves into the future a little bit. So,
Okay.
if the opportunity ever arose and you got a role for a certain franchise, are there any
Mm.
franchise like cartoons, games, or anything that you would like to be cast in?
Oh, um, I've actually like really what do you say indie kind of stuff, indie video games,
Yeah,
and yeah, and indie movies and stuff like that. I love doing those. Um, but one game which okay, so I was a bit of a nerd when I was younger. I used to play those shooting games and like fucking all that stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah, I know what you
But
mean.
uh, there's a really like boring kind of military simulation game that I liked when it was Armor, then I would really like to actually get into that series as
Ooh,
well. But
okay.
it's it's just a pipe dream to me. To be honest, that's a series I like to get into. What else? I actually want to get into like I said, because I always like to support what do you say, indie creators and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Because I don't know, I've never been much for what do you say, like big things and stuff like that. I just like to support
yeah.
small creators and just is. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bit of a influx of like indie stuff now. There was a lot of indie stuff during lockdown and stuff.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
it was really cool. Recently, I'm not sure if you've seen it, but it was indie made. It was called Lackadaisy that came out a few days ago. Um,
Yes, yes. I've seen
yes.
it. I
What'd you
know
think?
one of the people who voice acted actually. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm friends with like two of them. Belle and Bradley.
Mm,
So Bell voiced. I need to remember. I so bad at remembering names, but he voiced the orange one, the orange cat with like he was
mm,
it's kind of like shy, but then when he busts out the gun, he's like super crazy and maniacal.
mm.
And Bradley, he voiced who did he voice? He voiced one of I think it was either one of the villain cats or no, it was one of the cats at the bar or a casino thing at the end. He was one of those. Um,
Mm.
I can't I've only watched it once. I need to watch it multiple times, but yeah,
Yeah.
it was really well made. The voice acting was solid, and yeah, I hope we get more indie shows on that like same level, something similar to like like Hell of a Boss or Has Been, where they started out indie,
Mm,
but then they kind of worked their way to becoming mainstream. But if it stays indie, and that's perfectly fine too, because it's indie's kind of underrepresented as well, and it's good to support creators, big and small.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing, mate.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were gonna retort with something.
No, no, I'm still here. I'm still here.
Sweet. Um, yeah. What else was I gonna ask you? Hmm. So your story is actually quite interesting to me because normally when I interview voice actors, they usually tell me like a whole list of things that they've watched as a kid. But as you stated, you didn't grow up with cartoons or anime.
Not much, except
No,
for Ed and
not
Eddie.
not much. Yeah, Eddy and Eddy though. That I love Ed and Eddy so.
Yeah.
I'm really glad you brought them up. Because I want to talk to it. I just want to talk to Ed and Eddy now. Honestly. Yeah.
Oh,
That was a good time. Do you have any favorite characters or favorite episodes even?
Ed, Ed, and
Yeah.
the guy who had his stairwell stolen from
Yes.
because he, oh, I forgot the line, but it was just that he says the most outlandish things. I'm like, "Ugh, what? What's that? It's slapstick.
Yeah.
Actually, now that you reminded me of the more cartoons that kind of influenced me in the sense of humor and my voice acting, I guess it would be also like another cartoon that stuck out to me was actually Tom and Jerry.
Yeah. Tom and Jerry.
Oh man, it's so long ago. It's like I'm trying to remember, and it's like blurs and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
I
Oh,
seriously can't believe that my parents actually let me they let me get away with watching Tom and Jerry because that is like we watched like me and my brother we watched like the old Tom and Jerry, so that was like
mm-mm.
extremely violent and stuff.
Yeah, like
Um,
like beating someone up or sticking a shotgun down a mouse hole or something like that. I was like, what the? They
yeah,
allow this for kids to watch?
there's this one episode where it's kind of set back in medieval times, and then there's Jerry and his like little gray mouse friend that he takes with him. I forget what his name is, and Tom's trying to catch both of them. But he's trying to catch him because if he doesn't catch him, the king will be unhappy. So its arm fails to catch Jerry and the other mouse and his other mouse friends. So at the end of the episode, they don't show it, but Tom gets like decapitated by like a guillotine, and
Yo, yeah,
and and,
yes.
and
Oh,
Tom and Jerry and this other mouse dude is like, oh,
oh, oh
it's
my god.
crazy. What? How does this happen then?
Yeah. Um, Actually, now that you mentioned it, another thing that actually helped me get into voice acting was actually I actually sing sometimes. Actually, now that you
Ooh.
mentioned it,
Yeah.
um,
All right. All right.
be,
Well, what's
be,
your
be-
what's your
hmm?
favorite thing to sing, or do you have any favorite genres of music?
um, well, the one song that and my partner hates me for this is that I always sing is actually a song called "Plastic Love."
Ooh. What
Yeah, and
is it by?
hmm? Huh?
Who is it by artist or band?
It's by Maria Takeuchi. It's a Japanese city pop song from like the 80s and stuff like that.
Oh, I never can't say I've heard of them, but yeah, I'll have to look it up. What's it called again? Plastic Love.
Plastic Love, yeah.
All right, I'll be sure
Um,
to listen to it after the interview's done. Yeah, sounds interesting.
yeah, yeah. Um, but I think it was during the lockdowns and pandemics that I decided to actually start singing more, and that kind of helped
Yeah,
me kind of influence towards more the creative side of things. And then one thing led to another, and then here I am voice acting.
hell yeah, man. I do love me to say I do love me a good old singing session sometimes. Um,
Mm-mm.
I did sing when I was younger. I can't say I'm good at singing, but if I'm really passionate about it, I'll do it. So yeah, uh,
Yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
felt that one.
yeah. So yeah, but like still though, do you know how hard it is to find people that talk about it and Eddy, especially like in New Zealand? That's just wild to me.
Wait, really?
Yeah, like none like people that I've talked to, they've watched like other amazing Cartoon Network series. Don't get me wrong, but like Ed and Eddy just never like pops up for them. That's just wild to me.
That was like that entire show was. aside from that, and Tom and Jerry was pretty much my childhood, and it's just kind of permanently ingrained in it, I guess. But yeah,
Yeah.
no.
It's like one of these show. It's just one of those shows where I hope it never gets rebooted. It just stays as it is. You know?
Mm, definitely, definitely. It's kind of like a legacy that you want to
Yeah,
to keep. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So you mentioned with Plastic Love that you're like into like you said Japanese pop.
yeah,
Is that?
Japanese city pop.
Oh yeah. Any other like bands or like genres you're into?
Hmm. There's actually one that I've been listening to lately, and I don't know how to describe this genre, but it's like kind of easy listening kind of music. It's called
Yeah.
Macro Blank.
Necroblank. Can I
Yeah,
that? Sorry.
it's yeah, it's like really obscure music and stuff like that. I'm sorry, mate.
No, that's perfectly
Um,
fine. The music I'm into isn't like super popular. I mean, it kind of goes both ways. It's underground, but then sometimes it becomes mainstream, and then it goes back to underground again. It's like a lot of pop, not like no not pop, punk, pop punk, and like middle. So it kind of like ranges to
mm,
like the mainstream and underground. Sometimes.
there is a band that I used to listen to a lot when I was growing up, and what was it called? Death Grips, actually.
Death Grips. Yeah, I've heard of that
Yeah,
band. Yeah, let's go.
it's the song is just the music there is just completely, I don't know how to describe it aside from completely utterly unhinged.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds about right.
yeah, but nah. Other than that, other music I listen to is just what pops up in my recommended.
Hell yeah. I also gotta ask because you mentioned this like early on before. I can also relate because Asian households, not super
Open to the idea of this
yeah.
stuff.
Yes, I was gonna ask if it's perfectly fine with me to ask. You don't have to
Yeah, go
answer
ahead, go ahead.
if you don't have to answer if you don't want to. But like, yeah, what was yeah, when you told your parents, because you would have had to tell them eventually, right? That you wanted to do voiceover or voice acting, either or. What was like their initial response? And yeah.
What was it? I actually don't live with my parents anymore.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, so I when I told them, they were like, "Oh, cool, whatever." Actually, that
Oh,
was the thing.
nice.
Because oh, it was kind of hard for me though, because they said they can say, "Oh, what would you do after this?" Because what would you do after this? What would you do after this? How would you
Yeah.
keep it sustainable and all that stuff? And I thought to myself, well, I could, I want to at least, I want to at least, I know, try out for an agency eventually, but not yet because I lack the skills necessary yet.
Yeah.
Um, and just constantly just try and find work on like Twitter, Voices, and like VDC and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's fair enough. I asked my parents when I was like 16, so it initially didn't go over well, super well, but eventually they kind of came around. But honestly, right now with from what I've heard with your demo, honestly, if you send it to like Big Mouth, that's the internet agency I'm with right now. Honestly, if you
Hmm.
send it to them, I think you got a pretty solid shot of being in their books. But if you want to take the extra safe route, I would also just make a commercial demo as well to like go along with that.
I do actually have one, but I don't post it on my Twitter.
Oh, okay, you already have one. Cool. So just reach
Yeah.
out to them. Honestly, just reach out to them. There's no need to hide yourself. Just make sure you do it at a good time. So it could be like middle of the week, in like early morning, so like 9 a.m. or something. If you just
Yeah, yeah.
you send your stuff, state your interest of representation, and I'm sure they'll gladly take you on. They're very nice people, and it's not super difficult to work with them. So
Mm,
it's
mm.
or difficult at all really. It's a really fun group. Yeah, so yeah, totally just go for it. You get more access to more cool things, and it's really fun.
Yeah. But I've kind of had this I guess most people have this, but this kind of like self-doubt essentially, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
It's like,
get it.
oh, is it good enough? Oh, would they like it? But
Yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. I
yeah.
still have this. I'm very harsh on myself.
Yeah,
So
that's
So normally I try my best to like at least get like a second or third opinion just to make sure that I'm actually a-okay before I set things off because I don't want to screw things up. But honestly, man, as your second opinion, I reckon it's perfectly if what you've got is perfectly fine. Just go for it. All right,
Just
yeah.
go for it.
I refuse to let you have imposter syndrome. Okay, so just
Replace it with con man syndrome.
so yeah, just go for it, man. I know you'll do well. So yeah, just do it.
Oh, I appreciate that. That means a lot.
No worries, man.
But yeah. What was I gonna say? I've heard that because all the stuff I make is self-produced essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that most people always say, "Oh, you can't do that. You have to get a professionally done demo and all that stuff." And I'm like, I don't have the money for that, unfortunately.
Oh, wait,
Currently,
so
at
your
least.
demo is like mixed by yourself or directed
Yes,
by yourself?
yes,
Oh,
all,
okay.
all of it, all of it.
I mean, you got a it's pretty good like mixing because you seem like you have a decent experience mixing and all that. So I would say though, I would say like just to be on the safe side to eventually it is demos are like finna expenny so
Mm,
it is worth to like organize a director,
mm,
scriptwriter, a mixer. You want because you want to put your best foot forward for agencies, so because you want the client to hear
yeah.
the best of you, and you want your agency to hear the best of you, and yeah, it does cost a lot of money though, so you want to be make sure you're absolutely ready. So I totally understand that, but
Actually, I lied a bit. I forgot. My partner actually, she helped direct it to me. Actually,
oh really? Nice. That's really awesome. Yeah. Does she have like any acting experience? I know I'm like,
no, she just watches a lot more TV than I do,
hey, fair enough, fair enough. I mean,
and now she's calling me.
I
She's
mean,
calling me out.
it sounded really good. So, honestly, props to her. Yeah.
Hey, uh, you did a really good job directing me. Apparently, but oh, and she's doing a little curtsy right now.
Oh, that's sweet.
But no, I have to thank her a lot because she does help me with my. Sometimes she helps me, and by I say sometimes I mean most of the time. She helps me with directing occasionally because sometimes she, I would mess up in time. It's like, oh no, like I'll say something, and it's like I know something's wrong with it, but I don't know which direction to go with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she helps me like refine it a lot, and I owe a lot of my well my voice acting career to her because she helped me kickstart this as well as a job essentially.
Oh, that's really wholesome, man. I
Oh, I love
honestly,
it a bit.
bless her soul, bless her soul. That's amazing.
But yeah. What's the question again?
Uh, I don't even know what my last question was. um, but yeah, we only have 4 minutes, so I guess this one will be the last question. But
Yep.
yeah. So yeah. If would you? Is there any piece of advice that you would give to voice actors that are like, just starting out, or any voice actors that are from New Zealand that want to have a go at this? What would you what was like a one piece of advice that you would give to them?
Try,
Yeah.
just try. Um, I can say this from experience. I never thought I'll get like certain what do you say experiences or roles and stuff like that if I just didn't try. Um, but number one thing is try. Just go for it. Just do it. Um, and the second piece of advice, and this goes for people who are already knowing what to do, they want to do voice acting and stuff like that. It's uh, invest in yourself. As an actor, invest in your soundproofing and your environment and your equipment. That's my second piece of advice. And the last piece of advice is have fun. Have fun. Because if you're not having fun doing the stuff you want to do, then well, what's the point, mate?
Hell yeah. And what a perfect wholesome segue to end off the last question. So, just really quickly, do you want to like, drop your well, first off, thank you so much for being part of my interview series.
Oh, no
And
worries.
yeah, second, Do you want to like name any social media platforms so people can follow you? I'll put them in the description when this comes out.
Sure. On Twitter, I am. It be me, Mr. Butts. On YouTube, it's Mr. Butts TV.
Mr. Butts.
Oh,
Okay, that's the internet humor coming out. I see.
what else? And I have a card website which is Matthew-Zun, that's Zeon .card, and that's where you can see my credits and all my other stuff that I do as for fun. And yeah.
Sweet. I'll add them all in the description. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you guys for watching the interviews, and I'll see you for the next one. All right. See ya.
Bye bye.